Hello guys and welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to be doing a non-league tier list video where we are ranking clubs from the Northern Premier League Northwest Division. But before we get into it, if you are new around here, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you never miss an upload, and while you're down there, do not forget to leave a like on this video. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so the first club up here we have is Brighouse Town, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in average. And before I explain my reasoning for that, let me just explain that this video is simply just a bit of fun. I'm sorry if I rate your club too low or whatever. Like I said, it is just a bit of fun. Don't take it to heart. It's only my opinion, and if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. Okay, so the reason I've decided to put Brighouse Town in average is they've not been in the league that long. However, in the time they've been here, they have been challenging for promotion in recent seasons. So I don't see really any reason that they would be any smaller than that, but I don't think they deserve to be bigger than that either. Moving on to the next club, we have Clitheroe, my team. Now, removing all bias from this, I'm going to have to say they would go in average as well. They are a club on the up, and they're going to look to challenge for automatic promotion next season, as they did challenge for the playoffs before the season was halted. They've made a load of great new signings under new boss David Lynch. However, they haven't really done enough recently or historically, despite being staples of this league since their promotion in 2003-04. I don't think they've done enough really in their time in the league to really be considered any bigger than average, although they're not smaller than average either, if that makes sense. Next up, we've got City of Liverpool, who unfortunately I'm going to have to put in tiny. The reason for that being is that they're one of the newest formed clubs in the division. They have a decent sized fan base, but they were only promoted to the NPL in the 2018-19 season after winning the Northwest Counties. So yeah, they're a pretty tiny club at this level, I'm afraid to say. Next up, we've got Colne, and again, removing my bias as they are Clitheroe's rivals, I'm going to have to put them in average as well. They've been in the hunt for playoffs in recent years, and the only reason they finished so low this season was due to their cup form, which saw them reach the third qualifying round of the FA Trophy and the fourth qualifying round of the FA Cup, so I'd say that sees them go in average as well. Next up, we've got Droylsden, who I think probably qualify as a big club. My reasoning for this is that they've played as high as a Conference National, which is now known as a National League, the top tier of non-league football, after they won promotion in the 2006-07 season. They've also reached the second round proper of the FA Cup in 2010-11, and were only knocked out in extra time by Leyton Orient, in fact, in a replay. They've also got a 3,000 capacity stadium, which if you've been to it, you'll know it's a lot higher standard than most teams at this level. So yeah, I think they probably qualify as a big team in this league. Next up, we've got Dunstan UTS, who I think would probably go in small. They did win the FA Vase in 2011-12. However, they only won promotion back to the Northern Premier League in the 2018-19 season, so I don't think I can put them any higher than small, unfortunately. Sorry, Dunstan fans. Okay, next up we have Kendal Town, who I'm going to go ahead and put in average. They flirted with promotion to the now National League North in the late 2000s, but they were relegated back to the NPL in the 2012-13 season, and have since been rooted to the bottom half of the table, occasionally even threatened to go further down into the Northwest Counties League, especially this season, where they were second bottom before the season was cancelled. And they do also have the second lowest average attendance this season, with just 142 people on average turning up to their games, so I don't think I can put them any higher than average. Okay, next up we've got Marine, who I'm going to go and put ahead with Droylsden in big. My reasoning for that is they've got the second highest average attendance in the league, with 396 people turning up to their games on average. Historically as well, they played a lot of their football in the 7th tier, and it was only in the 2018-19 season which they saw their first relegation in their history after spending 40 consecutive seasons at the highest level of the NPL. So for that reason, I think they've got to be classified as a big club. Next up, we've got Mask, who I'm going to go ahead and put in small. My reason for that is that they have been challenging for promotion in recent years. However, they were only promoted in 2017-18. Moving on, we've got Mosley, who I'm going to put in average. Again, my reason for that is they have been consistent members of the division since their relegation from the Premier Division in 2006-07. No more reasoning than that really, other than just consistency at this level. Next we have Ossett United, who I'm going to go ahead and put in small. Now, some of you may find this one controversial, as they were formed from a merger between Ossett Town and Ossett Albion in 2018, two clubs which had well-established history in the Northern Premier League. However, they are the newest club in the division, and I'm treating them as such, as one club, and for that reason I can only see them going in small, unfortunately. Next up we have Pickering, who again unfortunately I'm going to have to go and put them in tiny. They do have the lowest average attendance this season, with just 137 people on average turning up to their games. They were rooted to the bottom of the table before the season was prematurely ended, looking like they were going to get relegated back down to the 9th tier, and they've historically been a 9th tier club, only getting promotion to the NPL in 2018-19, so unfortunately they can't be any bigger than tiny. Next up, Pontefract Collieries. I'm going to have to put them in small. However, I will caveat that by saying they are a club on the rise, and in the next few years they could be looking at an average or even a big club at this level. They only reached the league for the first time in 2018-19. However, they did finish as runners-up behind Morpeth Town in their first season, losing out on a third consecutive promotion only after they lost to Brighouse Town in the playoffs. And they're well placed as well this season before it was halted, challenging for promotion before it was cut short, as they were sat in 4th with 6 games in hand on Workington in first, who we'll come to later. So for now they're a small club, but as I said, they are on the up, and they could be considered as average or even a big club in the next few years if they continue in the way that they are. Next up we've got Prescott Cables, who I'm going to go ahead and put in average. Again, another consistent member of the league in the 2010s. They went from flirting with relegation in the early parts of the decade to now challenging for playoffs in recent years, but as with the other clubs at this level in average, they've not really done enough to justify being any bigger, but they are bigger than the clubs below them. Next up we have Ramsbottom United, who I'm going to go ahead and put in average. They were promoted for the first time to the NPL in 2012-13 after winning the 2011-12 North West Counties title, and they were promoted again to the Premier Division in 2013-14, however were relegated back to the 8th tier in 2016-17, where they've been slowly making their way up ever since. So they've gone up and down a bit of a yo-yo club between the 7th, 8th and 9th tiers. So I'd say that probably sees them deserve to be average size, in my opinion. Next we've got Runcorn, who I'm going to go ahead and put in tiny. My reason being they were only promoted for the first time in their history in the 2017-18 season to reach this level, and they are one of the newer clubs on this list as well, only being formed back in 2006. Next we've got Tadcaster Albion, who I'm going to go ahead and put in small. My reasons being they were promoted for the first time to this league in 2015. However, they do have quite a modern ground, and they've got really passionate fans as well who follow them home and away. So that I think that edges them up to small over tiny, as with a lot of the newer promoted clubs on this list. Okay, Trafford, I'd say probably go in average. Reason being, they bounced between the 8th and 9th tiers a few times in the last few decades, finishing mainly around mid-table since their promotion back to the NPL in the 2007-08 season. But they also had a few playoff finishes as well, as with the likes of Clitheroe and Kendal. I don't think they've done enough really to be considered big, but I think they're too big to be any lower than an average sized club in my opinion. Okay, next up we've got Widnes, who I am going to unfortunately have to put in the tiny section, as they do have one of the lowest average attendances in the league, despite their 13,000 capacity stadium, and they were only promoted to the Northern Premier League with Runcorn at the end of the 2017-18 season, so for that reason I'm going to have to put them at the bottom as a tiny club. And finally we have Workington, who I am going to put as a massive club. In my opinion, they're the biggest club in the division. They have a long and illustrious history in the Football League as well. They played in the Football League between the 1950s and the 1980s, even finishing as high as 5th in what's now known as League One in 1965. More recently, they've bounced around the 6th to 8th tiers in the last 2 decades, and they were top of the table before the season was cut short. And they do also have the highest average attendance in the league, with an average of 409 people turning up to their games on a week-to-week basis. So there we have it, guys. That was my tier list for the Northern Premier League Northwest Division. Do you think I got your club's placement right? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you think I treated your club unfairly with their ranking, it was just a bit of fun. It's only my opinion, like I said. Let me know in the comments down below where you would have put them. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you never miss an upload, and also leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Let me know what sort of content you want to see next. I'm open to doing more tier list videos like this. Let me know if you want me to do any other leagues at non-league level. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.